Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us here in the charts. You tune into the Market Beast edition. It is your fellow compadre speaking, and today we'll be exploring a beautiful instrument that goes by the ticker symbol of PLTR, Palantir Tech Incorporated. We've covered this twice. This will be our third time. I'm going to show you a buyer's range. We also have a date that we can use as a reference point in terms of what needs to take place between the buyers and the sellers in order for this market to move in either direction. So I think I have some interesting information readily available for you all. So if you're ready for that, go ahead and sit back. We're going to go over this with welcome back if you're new. Wait a minute. If you're loyal, welcome back. If you're new here, consider joining us. So let's see what we have on the menu. Let's dive right into the charts here, shall we? All right. So today's March the 21st, 2021, and the previous close of Palantir is going to be $24.32. It closed up approximately 1.4% for the day. Okay. ASMR. Interesting analysis here, guys. All right, so what we have here is, so let me go ahead and reveal everything. Remember, this is kind of it's a newer stock, so let's see what we have. All right, that's it. Voila, ladies and gentlemen, what you were looking on the screen is these are 3-day candles, and I think I've identified this range here. In fact, none of this is new. If you notice this red line below the price, it's at like 23.93, and the blue line is at like 28.59. The only thing that's new is this white line here. Let me just kind of show you that really quickly. Here's a video that we posted January the 8th, 2021. It says this stock is ready to move up soon. Remember, guys, those are the exclamation marks. Look for the exclamation marks. Or we typically have like an exclamation mark and a question mark. It's kind of like, I'm not sure. But the exclamation marks, yeah, that means we're pretty much saying that, yeah, it's likely going to happen. Price was $25 at that time. And obviously, the market has moved up significantly, and then of course it has come back within the buyer's range, which brings us over to this video that we posted. It says that this stock is back in the buyer's range. Okay, the exclamation marks, of course, again. And I think at the time you can see the red line and the green line overhead. I just kind of give everyone like an overview, just to let everyone know that we've been following this, just not forever, right? But we're kind of in line with what could potentially take place next in this market. I think at the time of this video, let's see, the price was somewhere around like $28.05. You could probably barely see it on the screen there. But again, this isn't like a shameless promotion, guys. I just want everyone to be on the same page that we've been following this. Okay, you can't even see that. All right, so whatever the price was. So I'm bringing this all up to your attention because I think I've, again, found these small consolidation range that last for about 51 days within. I'm going to consider this as the buyer's range. The reason that I consider the price levels in between 23.93 and the overhead green line at about 28.59 is because, I mean, remember, the trajectory has been kind of blasting off. It's not really in an uptrend. It's just been like blasting off. It's a new stock, right? Blasted off within the buyer's range, and it blasted off again over like $40, right? This area makes me raise an eyebrow. I'm going to just say that first and foremost. This area right up here. Just because structurally, I look at candlesticks all the time, and there's just something weird about that area. We'll get into that in a little bit more here in a second. But again, the buyer's range, I think it's pretty obvious that the trajectory ever since coming out, I think we went over this in the first video, but back in like September the 28th, 2020, it came out of just below the double digits, and it kind of exploded to the upside, and of course made its way within this range. That's why I was saying that this can be considered a buyer's range, because it exploded up out of this range, right? And it kind of consolidated for a short period of time, which in this area makes me raise an eyebrow, and it was pushed back down within this buyer's range. Now here's where it gets a little bit, that makes me say, why did this happen and it didn't continue walking up the stairs? Because remember, this overall trajectory is up. Okay, you really have to read that book, guys. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. I'm always looking at the markets and referring back to that book that I read that changed my life in terms of the way that I look at the markets, okay? So I'm going to look at this candle right here. Again, 3-day candles, January the 21st, 2021. This is the buyer's commitment candle, okay? That basically means, a buyer's commitment, exactly what it sounds, right? It pushed the price up, right? But when you have a buyer's commitment candle to enter the market, you want to make sure that, you want to understand that when a market pushes up and you see the buyer's commitment come into the market, right, this green candle, you want to look and see what happens next. Because if the buyer's commitment comes into the market, let's just say, for example, they hold the market above this white line, which I'm going to explain what the white line means in just 1 second. They push the price up. They're holding their assets. It has a sideways consolidation, and then it thrusts higher. This means that the buyer's commitment candle is, they had good intentions when they entered the market. Hopefully that makes sense. But when I'm looking at these candles and I'm noticing that the buyer's commitment candle came into the market, it pushed the market up, and it had like a few days or like a week or so consolidation, and then it pushed it back down within the buyer's range that we were able to identify. This makes me raise an eyebrow because, okay, so what was this for? Why did they push the markets up only to push the market back down within the buyer's range? Like, does that make sense? Like, why didn't they just push the markets up and then find a new area to consolidate, perhaps sideways? Let me see if I can, I don't know, just kind of rewind this back. I think you guys are with me, but I just really want everyone to be with me here as we go over this, because I want to explain this. I'm always looking at this between buyers and sellers in the market. You guys know I say that like a broken record. All right, so let me just play it back. I think it's pretty obvious, right? Hang on, let's slow it down just a bit, because I talk a lot, right? So when I see this candle into the market, I say, okay, this candle has entered the market. You see this green candle, boom. Okay, they've committed to buying up that candle. Okay, so if they're going to buy up that candle, that means they should, at the very minimum, they should stay above. Let me just pause it. For 1 second. So has this green candle entered the market? At the very minimum, let me just erase it. I don't want to erase all this stuff, guys. We've already gone over the green line and the red line. Let me just kind of make all this clear right quick, really quickly. So when the buyer's commitment candle enters the market, if the buyer has good intentions in holding this market up and continuing to thrust and ease to the upside, then at a very minimum, I would think that the buyer who committed, whether it's a one buyer or a group of buyers, whoever it is, I would think that if they're going to commit to holding the market up and continue to walk up the stairs, that's all we go over, support, resistance, and patterns, and the previous level of resistance can be identified right here, right there, at about $28.82. So if they're going to enter the market, why don't they just hold the markets up, consolidate sideways, and at a very minimum, respect the previous level of resistance and continue to thrust and ease to the upside after consolidating sideways? That would be an indication to me that the buyer's commitment, the candle that we just went over, this buyer's commitment, they have good intentions and not only holding the markets up, but bringing the markets into new territories, respecting the previous level of resistance and continuing to walk up the stairs, thrust and ease to the upside. So that's why, I know it sounds weird when I explain this stuff, guys, but when I'm looking at the candles, I'm looking at the story between the buyers and the sellers. So if these buyers in this buyer's commitment candle had or have good intentions, they still could have good intentions. I'm not saying that what I'm explaining is going to be 100% concrete. Okay. Did I say concrete right? Yeah, E.T. Guys, I can't spell sometimes. But assuming that they have good intentions and they are truly in this, they step to this market to, hold this market up and continue higher, at a very minimum, I would like to have seen the practical play for me to understand the story would have been for the price action to stay above the previous level of resistance and walk up the stairs. That did not happen. Let's continue to play the story out. The buyer stepped into this market and they did some consolidating up within this range above. That's why when I say that this area makes me a little bit concerned, like the area here, these sellers, they're holding on to some hefty positions right now. I don't think they're probably taking any profits right now on their put positions in this market, as they have pushed the price back within the buyer's range. Okay, so let's just say someone stepped into this market, right? Like the buyer's commitment. They stepped into this market only to test the market to see if there's a sufficient amount of buying interest or activity going on to see if they can actually continue to propel the price to the upside. And I think on this candle was when they realized that, oh yeah, there's probably not enough buying interest in this market. So they did some consolidating with their puts in this market, in this circled area, and just pushed the price back down to the organic level before they actually stepped into the market to test the strength of this market. God, that sounds so weird. I understand what I'm looking at, guys, but sometimes it's difficult for me to explain. But I think some of you actually are kind of with me, right? So that's the reason why I say this area. I just want to explain it right. This area is kind of it makes me raise an eyebrow a little bit. But Nevertheless, 51 days will be the tattletale sign whether or not this buyer's range is going to be a sufficient amount of buying activity to propel the price back to the upside. The only level that the price needs to stay above is going to be $23.52. Okay, so this 51 days represents how much time it took previously, which again it's not guaranteed to play out exactly how it did. But if we are trying to reference a time within a range, which is what I've done, I've measured 51 days starting from November the 25th, 2020, just kind of starting right here. And then what I do is I only measure the candles bodies, and I measured it over to January the 15th, 2021. Okay, so we measure 51 days. So what I do is I do the same thing. I find the first candle's body that closed within the buyer's range, which is right here at about February the 26th. And then I just simply measure over 51 days. I think it extended all the way over to like 53 days. So let's just use that for now as a reference point. Assuming that's 51 days, just say it's 51 days just to be, an oddball, right? I don't know. So that brings it on over to April the 19th, 2021. We should see some sort of consolidating, extending over to that time. Again, it's not guaranteed it's going to happen because we could get a breakout, meaning to the downside, okay, below that level, or to the upside. It's simply what it means, breaking out of a pattern, break out to the upside. So you have the two levels. You have the time frame. Let me give you the overhead level once again, 28.78. If you see the price breaking above and staying above that level, that means the buyers are breaking out of this range once again, as they did in the past. But again, I have an eyebrow raise, just one, looking at this price action. So if you see the price staying below $23.52, then you'd know that my raising of the eyebrow was of some significance, or at least it was something. I was seeing something in the charts that I didn't like. Okay, but at the end of the day, let me just explain to you what that other level was that I erased, that white line. It was like $32, and we'll close it out here, guys. Thank you for your time, for putting up with this weird story here. 32.16, I think the level was. So like, yeah, just somewhere right there. So this level I found through. Remember, I look at this stuff very unique. Okay, I get it right sometimes. But this level is the buyer's obligation level. I know we go over like the buyer's obligation level. It's kind of like to protect this lower line. But this buyer's obligation level is to the buyers. If they don't get above this level at about 32.18, I really would be concerned with what's really going on in this market. Because if they can't get back above this level, let's just say sometime just after the 51 days. If it were to kind of take a little bit sooner than that, then I would say no. That's probably not enough consolidating. I need to see this market consolidate within this buyer's range for at least 51 days. Okay, and that's not just me wanting to see it. That's me saying that, okay, the practical move for this market to consolidate and build up enough necessary momentum to have an explosive move out of the buyer's range as it did in the past for like 51 days, then that would be in line with what has taken place in the past. So I truly think that the market, if it's going to have that explosive move again, it's probably in its best interest for the buyers at least to consolidate within this range again and give it a retest overhead at 32.16 minimum. But they really need to make higher highs in order to keep the overall trajectory in place, because you guys know what we look for, and we'll close it out here. Higher highs, higher lows. This market is still perfectly intact to continue this overall blast off. It's not really trending up, right? Because right now it is right within line where the previous level of support was, right down here at this line. It has not compromised that level. It has wicked lower. I'll let you know that. March the 5th, 2021, it actually wicked lower to about $20.18 on that candle, if you can actually see that. So I'm not sure if that's a concern or not. That's just something that's noteworthy that I've noticed, and I'm just pointing it out for you there. So let's give the market 51 days. Let's see how much more time, that we have to go over to that date. So we got about 32 days. So give it a full month to consolidate and see what's going to happen next in this market. So that's pretty much all I have for you wonderful folks. Hopefully this was useful information for you all. And again, just because I'm raising my eyebrow at this point, I'm raising my eyebrow because, jeez, what's going on with me? I'm not sure if this market is going to have enough strength to propel the price to the upside. But again, don't go by what I think, guys. You have a strategy. You've done your research. I haven't done any research on this company. I'm just looking at lines on the chart. So yeah, let's let this play out. You have the dates. You have the levels that it needs to stay above. You have the buyer's obligation level. This is kind of like to continue the overall trajectory. Yeah, it must get above 32.18. If it breaks out and it has any trouble at that level, no, that means the sellers they have a control of this market. They don't have control right now. Let's be clear. It's in a beautiful upwards trajectory. The sellers don't have control of this market. Whether I have one eyebrow raised or 4 eyebrows raised, doesn't matter. Okay, if this market consolidates and it gets above 32.18, beautiful. It's going to continue up. Okay, and it's going to make a higher high, which is over $38. All right. But yeah, if it has trouble there at 32.18, yeah, just know what's going on, guys. Okay. That's why I have to give you that level. Yeah, if it doesn't get above that level, it will be technically a lower high. That's not good for a uptrend, right? You know what we look for, okay? So yeah, hopefully this video wasn't too long. Hopefully this was useful information. You have the references and the time and the levels, so we cut it out. Thank you for your time. Leave an appropriate thumb just below the video there if you enjoyed the content. And if you're new, before you go, we cover the alternative markets. We cover Bitcoin and altcoins. If you're into that, subscribe with the bell. We'll send you that. And that's it. So take care of yourselves, protect your portfolios, execute your strategies. We're going to talk soon. Bye for now.